Welcome to Language Arts for the week of November 23rd to 24th. It is a short week, and in this week we will only be covering 2 lessons. Actually, not quite even 2. We're going to be continuing 3.09 next week. Welcome to the overview. Here's what our class homepage looks like. The thing I wanted to point out here was that you will find the weekly video link and quiz either in the class content and then also in the class plan. Here's what our week looks like. So that's pretty cool. We have it's a short week because of the holiday. And what I wanted to point out here was that 3.09 is where we start our rough draft of our research report, our mini research report. But please notice that I didn't make it due until Monday the 30th to allow you a little extra time to find your resources and collect your data. I want to give you a heads up, upcoming lessons and how they connect to current ones. So first, you have this rough draft that's due on Monday the 30th, okay? And then you're going to get that back with some help, and then you're going to be adding that help in. So what I'm getting at is the heads up is that your final paper will be due December 15th, but you want to make sure you pick a topic you actually like because you're going to be spending a lot of time on it. And then finally, also heads up that there's an oral presentation that is going to go with this topic, not just a research paper. So again, make sure you pick a topic you like because you're going to be spending a lot of time on it. Alright, when you're going through lesson 3.08, you'll notice first that it's 22 slides with lots of different interactives. One of the main things you need to make sure you're comfortable on are what are summaries, paraphrasing, and quotations, and what attributes and when do you use them. Then we're going to go into, on slide 5 of 22, we're going to be looking at more deeply into paraphrasing, quoting, and summarizing and how it connects to plagiarism. And so you need to be careful as you're researching that you cite any sources that you need to. They give you some examples and you can click on the answer, but I want to show you a handy-dandy tool that I found from the Plagiarism Handbook on how to decide if you should cite it or not. So if you can answer yes to one of these questions, you do not need to cite it. If you can answer yes to these questions, you do not have to cite it. If you can answer no, then you must cite it. All right, so you just follow the flow chart, follow the arrows. So in the example that they give here, where you're reading an assignment and you realize you've done a similar paper and you want to be able to reuse some of the research you did, do you have to cite it? So you think of, did you think of the wording? Yes. So now you're going to go down to the next question. Is it common knowledge? If the answer is yes, then you do not cite it. But if the answer is no, then you must cite it. All right, another one. If you and your brother is talking to you about a class he had that you now have, and he tells you that he had to write a paper and everybody writes it, same topic, and you want to use his, and you're wondering, can I do that? You think, did you think of the wording? No, you did not. It came from your brother. So then you think, is it common knowledge? No, it is not, so you have to cite it. So you just ask yourself, did you think of the wording and is it common knowledge? The only times you don't have to cite things are when it's your own words or if it's common knowledge. All other cases should be cited. All right, next, it goes into on 15, slide 15 of 22 and 3.08. It goes on onto patterns of organization. Heads up, you're going to need to know this. And then it goes on to sentence fragments, dependent clauses, run-on sentences, and what a sentence is. We've been covering this extensively, but make sure you're comfortable. Take notes on that. And then you have on 3.08, slide 22, you have a discussion. The thing I wanted to point out here was make sure you read the example so you can be complete. And then you scroll down because it tells you that on 3.0, you go to 3.06 to post your answer, and you need to know that part, and you need to know that it's the discussion beginning a writing assignment. All right, next, first impressions count. So check that out. This is 3.09. It is 16 slides and information to read through. One of the main things you're going to be working on in this lesson is what is a thesis statement, and it is the main idea of an essay. It goes into further what is a strong or a weak one, and I want to point out that a thesis statement is more than just a sentence that states the main idea, it is a roadmap also of what your body paragraphs are going to be about. We're going to play a quick game of thesis statement bullseye. All right, a bullseye is a thesis statement that is on target. A miss is a thesis statement that is not on track. I'm going to read a thesis statement. I want you to pause and think, hey, is that a good one or a bad one? Is it a bullseye or a miss? All right, there are many disadvantages and advantages to the country's new voting machines. What do you think? This one is a miss. It's going off, it missed the board altogether. Why? Because it is vague and it only states an opinion. Your thesis statement should not just be an opinion. All right, next up. Will it be a hit or will it be a miss? A hero can be an individual whose character and qualities people admire and attempt to imitate. Yes, this one is a hit. Bullseye. Why? Because it tells you what the paper is going to be about, and it states the body paragraphs too. It gives a roadmap. You know that the body is going to be about how people admire and try to imitate a real hero. Next up is the arrow called this thesis statement. Some people think that the state lottery is a bad way to raise money for parks. What do you think? Hit or miss? If you said miss, you are correct. That one was a miss because it stated facts and was too vague. Our last one up, our last arrow we're going to shoot at the bullseye board. All right, here we go. While cultural forces contributed to the collapse of communism in Eastern Europe, the disintegration of economies played a key role in driving it to its decline. What do you think? Strong hit or weak miss? That is a hit. Why? Because it tells you a map of what the paper is going to be about. It tells you the topic, like stated here, and it tells you the body, like stated there. All right, will your paper give a solid first impression and have a strong thesis? It's up to you. All right, so 3.09 is started on Tuesday, but it's not going to be handed in until Monday. But I did want to review that it's going to be 500 words, which is two double-spaced pages or one single-spaced page. And I'm going to be looking for all of these elements. All right, finally, I want to point out, if you do not take 3.09 lesson check, unless you can answer these questions from your memory or from your notes on 3.09 slide 16 of 16. What two questions am I talking about? I'm talking about these ones right here. So you want to ask yourself the question, can you name two other possible patterns of organization that you can use for a research report? Really stop and think. And then hit answer. If you can, move on to the next one. Can you explain the consequences of plagiarism? Stop and think. Get your answer ready before you hit answer and see how you did. If you were incorrect on either of them, what you do next is you go back to the slides that which are our textbook that talked about these things. So for the plagiarism one, you'd go back to 3.08, slide 10 of 22, where it distinctly talks about what the consequences of plagiarism are. All right, next, if you couldn't answer this question here on patterns of organization, you're going to go back to 3.08, slide 15 of 22, and look at the types of patterns of organization. And then on 3.08, slide 16 of 22, they have this interactive tool to help you with a reminder of those features of each of those patterns of organization. All right, cool guys. I'm looking forward to seeing your rough drafts on the 30th, but this was our weekly overview for the week of 11/23 to 11/24. See you soon.